Are you looking to make more money in 2019? This is a big topic for a lot of people, and we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk with career change expert Lisa Lewis and investigate ways to make more money either in your current job or find ways to make a little more on the side in 2019. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome, Jenny. It's fabulous to be here with you. And I know that there are many Job Jenny fans who are tuning in today. So it's so great to get to speak to you too.
So if anyone is unfamiliar with Lisa, she runs a program called the Career Clarity Program. This is a comprehensive coaching program that helps people figure out what they want to do next and then construct the action plan to get out there and get after it. So if anyone is interested in that program, we will have a link in the show notes. But yeah, I was so happy to meet you. I've known you for a little while now, and I know you know your stuff when it comes to finding ways to make more money. Question that I want to start with. So many people think that, oh, I got to go leave my job to make more money, or, oh, I have to have a second job. But you will show people, or in the coaching that you do, that you actually can make more money in your current job if you think it through. Can you tell us how you go about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're so right that it seems like, and many times it's true, that one of the easiest and fastest ways to make more money is to go get a new and different job.
Right.
But for a lot of people, you're in a job that you like, or you're in a job that really, really works for your life, your lifestyle, your family,
right,
and feels like it would be so much easier and more peaceful for your life to stay. But it also feels like by staying, you're giving up a lot of potential earning opportunities.
Yeah. Yep.
So
we talk with a lot of people in that exact situation, and you have to choose one or the other.
Well, that I think is the rub, is that while it is absolutely true that sometimes there really isn't any additional upward mobility for you in terms of salary, there are a lot of little stones left unturned that you can check out for yourself that might actually open up more opportunities to make more money without having to make a whole lot of major changes to your life. I have 8 core ones that I want to talk about here.
Good. I was just going to say, well, what are they? Everyone's like, give me them. I got to have them.
Yeah. So if we're thinking about this from the perspective of your boss or your boss's boss, when you're asking for more money or doing something similar to what you have already been doing, whether it's staying in the exact same job or staying within the same career trajectory, they're going to need to see that you are creating more value in order to give you more money. And what does creating more value mean? It means that you are creating some sort of transformation for the company, for its clients, for its customers, for its shareholders, whoever that is, that makes the company more profitable, more valuable, more whatever. Okay. So 8 ways to think about how you can create more value for your organization are, number 1, you can help them increase revenue, bringing in more sales, bringing in more customers, getting more renewals, things like that. Okay. If you can help bring in more money, it is easy for them to pass along a percentage of that to you.
Right. But you need to ask for it usually, correct?
Yes, totally. Well, and that's an important piece of this too, is that so many people, and I think perhaps more women than men, tend to think that if I just create, if I build it, they will come. If I am creating things and being really valuable, I will.
Doesn't always happen that way.
I wish it worked that your boss would see and notice everything you're doing and then immediately come back and say, how can we reward you? Here's a raise, here's a promotion.
Right.
You bring up this fabulous point of you can't just create more value. You've also got to figure out how to talk to your boss about this to say, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's the value it's been creating. And really taking on a commercial mindset to say, here is the way in which I have become even more impressive and even more of an asset to you.
Yes.
And I think that I should be compensated in a way that helps bring some of the great dividends and some of the great improvements that I brought to the company back to me as a thank you.
Okay.
So increasing revenue is a really easy way to show that, hey, there's a portion of that should come back to my pocket because I helped.
There's no gray area with that. Here's the number.
Totally. Thing number 2 to think about is, can you develop a skill set a piece of knowledge, something like that, that is super valuable to the company.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That might help them to save money. Say something that they used to be paying an external consultant to do, and they were paying that consultant $300 an hour, where they could pay you $200 an hour, and that would be a cost savings for them and a huge benefit for you.
And there's so many free or very low cost learning opportunities online now. It's almost like there's absolutely no reason why you can't gain skills today. It's not like you have to go sit in a classroom necessarily. There's so many things like LinkedIn Learning and Coursera where you can just sit in your jammies on your couch and gain those skills.
Oh, 100%. And even in this space on YouTube, we'll talk about something a little bit later where you've got oodles of options available to you for free on YouTube that can help you to increase that skill set and then increase your value super easily.
Okay, good.
So that's thing number 2. Thing number 3, taking on more responsibility. So if you manage a team of 10 and you could start managing a team of 20, then you can effectively save your company the money of hiring on another version of you who is managing 10 people.
Right.
So think about how you increase that responsibility, whether it's managing more dollars worth of projects or more humans or more whatever, can help to make you more valuable.
Okay.
Thing number 4 is helping the company increase its profitability. So if you are not in a position where you want to be helping out with sales and bringing more money in, but you can help with doing some optimization internally to bring overhead down, or consolidate contracts, find ways to create more efficiencies, that's super important and super valuable to the company too.
For sure it is.
Yeah. Thing number 5, am I on 5 now?
Yeah, I think it's 5.
So now
we're going through these. Yeah,
so now we're going through things that ask for a little bit more of a give on your side. And depending on this feels good to you, depending on if this feels like something that you want to do in a short or medium term way to bring in more money that would be okay with your life, your values, etc. Some of these things can be really profitable. So number 5 is increasing your availability. So being willing to say on call, work some extra hours, potentially work a weekend. If you increase your availability, a lot of organizations will compensate you in kind for that.
Or sometimes if you'll take an international assignment where you got to pick up your life and move to a different location, that can accelerate your earning too, but obviously it turns your life into something completely different. So that needs to be factored into your lifestyle.
Yeah, 100%. That's actually thing number 6 is
I'm stealing your things.
Travel. Totally. Well, and it's funny because so many people want more travel in their lives, but if you could get your boss to pay for it and allow you to make more money and then have all these different expenses that you would have been paying at home and paying full freight for that you can expense while you're traveling, that's pretty darn fabulous. So they will pay extra money to inconvenience you to have you away from home for a little bit more. Yes. But for some people, again, that's not an inconvenience. That is a fun adventure.
Yep. Depending on what stage of your life you're in. And it's great if you're in a stage where that's something that you can do with relative ease, because there are a lot of people, I'm one of them, that right now I've got kids in school. We are a blended family, so we need to be by our kids' other parents. Like, it would be very, very difficult for me to justify to all the players in my personal life that I need to make such a move. So if you're not like me, you can capitalize on that.
Totally. I think that's why having 8 different tools in your potential toolbox to pick which ones actually work for your life, your values, etc., is a fabulous thing.
Great, yeah. Okay, we're on 7. Yes. I promise I won't steal the last 2.
Yeah. Okay, so 7 is increasing the other types of inconvenience you are willing to take on. So that could be doing graveyard shifts. It could be working on holidays. Anything that other people would be bummed about can come with holiday pay. It can come with an increased pay scale to get you started.
Okay.
If that kind of inconvenience works for your life because you're a night owl, or holidays bum you out and you'd rather be working, then fabulous. And thing number 8 is exposing yourself to more risk, which, again, this tactic does not work for everybody.
Right. We don't all want to be bungee jumpers for a living.
Totally, 100%. So thinking about if that works for you, or if that actually is something that for your lifestyle feels really good and feels really fun for you, could be a fabulous way to make more money. But besides these 8 ways that you can be creating more value for your employer, there's certainly other ways you can start making a little bit more money at work in a more sort of short-term, less sustained way, like ways to get spot bonuses or referring employees to your employer.
Right. A lot of companies do have those referral bonuses. And having been a recruiter for all these years, I will tell you that to pay an employee $1,000 or $2,000 versus paying a recruiting agency 20 times that much, there's an absolute no-brain incentive for companies to offer that to their employees. And even for people who work in companies that don't, if you have a good relationship with your HR team, you might even want to suggest that they implement something like that if you know that they're spending considerable amounts on recruiting.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are the ways to earn more money on the inside of your company. I know plenty of people who maybe rather than that we'll call them the side hustles. They go to work during the day, and then at night they're working on something on the side, whether that's a passion project. I have a friend who's a teacher who has a side job as a jewelry designer. Let's talk about ways that you can make more money on the side.
Totally. And this is near and dear to my heart because I became a full-time entrepreneur from being a side hustler when I was building my career coaching business on the side of my 9-to-5 job. So what I want to say to this one is that we could probably spend 2 hours talking about all the different potential side hustle ideas out there.
All the people on YouTube just went, oh.
Well, we don't want to do that.
I promise, we're only going to spend 4.
Nobody wants to watch a 22-hour video on all the different possibilities for side hustles out there. And there are tons of YouTubers who have already put videos out there on this topic.
Yes.
So if you're thinking specifically about side hustle tactics that you want to think about, totally go and do a search for some of those videos because there's some really quality ones out there. But before thinking about the tactical side of how you want to actually do this in your own life, it's so important to think about the strategic side of how could you actually pick out which tactics make any sense for you. And the 3 things to think about when you're thinking about starting out a side hustle are, number 1, what are your strengths, your natural abilities, and your gifts?
Yep.
When you're starting a side hustle, you are becoming your own boss. And you don't want to be a crappy boss to yourself by asking yourself to do stuff you don't like, that you're not good at, that you find to be boring, tedious, whatever. So start with, what are the things that could be really fun, interesting, intriguing, joyful, etc. for me based on past experiences?
Yep.
Either stuff I've liked in my past job, things that I have sought out outside of work in an extracurricular sense, whether it is volunteer opportunities or service opportunities, anything out there, side projects, things that you go down the information rabbit hole on when you're in your free time. So start there with things that you like. Then the next 2 things to consider from a strategic perspective are, number 1, how quickly do you want this to go from idea to dollar bills in your pocket? Because that might say that starting a side hustle where you're employed by somebody else could work out really, really well for you. Whether that is doing something like working at a coffee shop, whether it is tutoring, whether it is being a virtual assistant, something like that where you've got a consistent employer who's writing you checks all the time. Or if you're interested in doing something where you might be building something a little bit more that you own, and you're willing to wait a little bit longer on the timeline between getting started and having dollars in your pocket, there are tons of other ideas out there, like starting to build a coaching business or a consulting business or a freelance business.
Okay.
That can work out really, really well for you. So depending on what feels good for you, how many skills you're willing to acquire, what you like to do, and how short you want that runway to be between when you start working and when you start having money in your pocket and what you want the earning potential to be, it can make the decision about what side hustle options make sense for you become way clearer. Because if you want your earning potential to be huge and you're willing to be patient, coaches can make hundreds of bucks an hour that babysitters usually don't. But if you need money in your pocket immediately, going and working as somebody working at a daycare facility on the side could be
or even subcontracting through an established coach or entrepreneur. I know several people who have done that, and then once they got their footing and felt confident and had the the experience that they needed to get, they went out on their own. And obviously, once you have no middleman, you make more money. So that would be something that I would say might be a good idea too for anyone who wants to do something on the side. Find an entrepreneur who's already doing it full time and see if that person needs some support on a part-time basis. Because right now we've got a newer resume writer who does some on her own as well, but saw that we needed some help and got in touch, and she's wonderful. And she's supporting us on a part-time basis. She may become so wonderful at what she does that she leaves me and says, I'm doing it on my own, which would be a bummer for us, but it's a great way for her to train and have some income at the same time.
Yeah, well, and it's a win-win that people don't always think about when they're thinking about side hustles, that you are getting the win of now having more ability to serve and more staff. And so you can then offer more packages to people. And she's getting the win-win of she doesn't have to do a ton of extra marketing and things for herself.
Absolutely. It's a total double win. It's absolutely, I'm really glad she got in touch with us. I also think that it's important for people to know, and hopefully you agree, is I think a lot of times people think, oh, a side hustle, I got to have a business plan. I have to have this. I have to have the website and the cards and the this and the that. And they get all tangled up on the 150 things they need to do before they can even start making money. When honestly, I know a gal that she lost her job in social work and started doing dog walking because she had these neighbors who all had dogs, and they, dual income working families. And so she just sort of started putting the word out, hey, I love dogs. Does anybody want me to walk the dogs while I'm out of work? She now runs a 6-figure pet care and dog walking service. And I mean, it started within a week or two of her losing that job. So I think it's more doable than people sometimes fear it's going to be, to start something on the small scale. Well, yes, I could talk about this forever. I love talking about ways for people to accelerate their incomes and obviously do it in a way that's satisfying to them along the way. Thank you, Lisa, for coming. We're going to hang up and we're going to keep this conversation going. If you are interested in Lisa's Career Clarity program, please go ahead and check it out in the show notes below. If you like this video, please click like. And if you would like to be alerted when we have new expert interviews on JobJenny.com, please go ahead and subscribe. Lisa, thank you so much. I want everyone to know that this is a do-over video. We did one a few weeks ago that was rife with technical errors. So we have officially made it all the way through, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.